So as you can see, we are using what is called the Racing Plus mod. Racing Plus is a fan-made, or more specifically, a racer-made addition to the game. And what it does is it makes the game basically more fair for runners. It makes a few changes to some characters. To make them race better. It makes a few changes to the game in general. For example, some rooms have been removed or slightly altered so that you can't take damage without preventing it with skill. There are a few rooms in the base game that no matter what you do, you will take damage. But beyond that, nothing much has changed other than some optional things that the runners have. Like, for example, you'll see on Nariom's side, you can see his exact stats displayed on the screen, and he can have that open perfectly fine. Now, they are running on the same seed. They are also starting with an item. So if you used to watch Binding of Isaac way back, you know that one of the things that you have to do is basically just press the reset button. And you still have to do that if you're doing non-modded character runs. So they don't have to do that anymore. And that helps out actually quite a lot in making racing just faster and funner and more fair. So as you can see, we are Blue Baby, who is the original bad character of Isaac, and with Cricket's body, which reduces tear delay. So they'll be looking for tears ups. Tears ups are slightly better with Cricket's body, because Cricket's body does what's called a tear delay, which stats with tear downs.
True, but in compensation, Cricket's body allows them to have a splash effect, which will allow them to do multiple hits potentially. So there's definitely a good backup. No, it's actually one of the more solid non-start control. There are some items that they start with in the program. Oh, and we have a knife now. Mother's knife. Oh, that changes a few things, because now the splash damage doesn't really come into effect, but they can get some good damage out of that. They have it's a front item. Basically, it makes them more like Zelda. Yep. In that regard, so it's like the sword is basically like the Zelda 1 sword, in that you throw it, and it deals the same damage. Well, not the same damage as in front of you. It actually deals more damage at the end, as you charge it up. So it deals damage every damage frame, which is 15 times a second. The game runs at 60 FPS, so damage frames are once every 4 frames. This is actually pretty important for some items, and the knife is one of them. Basically, you want the knife to stay inside of an enemy, so you want to hit enemies at the top of the knife throw. Or you can just do what crazyeightsfan does and just lightly throw your knife into an enemy that stands still like that. Or depending on the enemy, you can even just walk right up to them and just hold it in front of you. Now even throwing it a little bit, when it's in the air thrown, it deals more damage than if it's just in front of you. So you do just want to kind of rapidly tap your thing just at the speed that it will let you throw the knife. So the knife does actually charge up a little bit. Crazy, it's also using his bombs to bring some of the items to him from those spikes, so he doesn't have to walk onto them there. Ooh, 2020! Oh, very awesome. So crazyeightsfan didn't get this, but Nariom has Judas's shadow now. What that does is it actually changes the character to Judas, but a specific version of Judas that has an even larger damage boost. Judas is the last cannon of the game, and Judas's shadow is an item that lets you revive as a super version of him. Yeah, they are definitely getting some good items on this seed. And with that 2020, he's going to be able to throw 2 knives at once. All the more reason to constantly throw those knives, like you said earlier, because now he'll be able to throw 2 at once, doing numerous amounts of damage. So that's going to be really helpful for him in these later fights. I'm not Skynet. I've just played too many video games. This is what happens when you were jobless and nearly homeless for 2.5 years. You play lots of video games. Yeah, I've been there, my friend. But yeah, I've played quite a few hours of Isaac myself. I definitely know a good chunk about this game. Ooh, did not opt for Jacob's Ladder there, but given that he's got the knife, it wouldn't be as useful. Jacob's Ladder allows you to throw tiers that spit out electricity, especially if there's more than one. They kind of link together. Very useful. So he's going to skip that to go right to Mom. But with the 2020 and Mom's knife, quick fight. A few other Racing Plus changes that you probably have already noticed is most bosses don't have a death animation anymore, or at least their death animation is drastically reduced. This is because, well, we're trying to go fast, so lots of animations have been removed. For example, there's no more rapidly mashing start button.
what we just saw crazyeightsfan do is he used a card that let him get through the game a little bit faster by skipping a floor. One of the other changes to this game is that both players start with what's called the backpack. Backpack gives them the ability to hold 2 different spacebar items. So one thing that until this item was released, until Afterbirth Plus was released, is that, well, you kind of just kept your spacebar item the whole time, and all the other spacebar items were had to be exceptionally good to get picked up. Now with the backpack and everyone starting with it, well, we can have exactly what we've got here, and it makes items like the Krampus head a lot more useful. Or there's actually a lot of items that are kind of middle of the road spacebar items, and now you can use them. It also then improves other characters who have forced spacebar items, as you can't mod those forced spacebar items out. It crashes the game.
Indeed. Nariom also using the AWAS rune to get to the second half of the womb. Still a little bit behind crazyeigts, though. He got through the It Lives very quickly with that combo. He should be...
Yeah, sorry. crazyeightsfan has been playing this game for pretty much as long as anyone. Probably the longest, reign of a runner. I don't think really anyone plays from the very start of very few people have been playing since before Rebirth. And crazyeightsfan had a interesting introduction to the community where he just kind of showed up and beats literally everybody at character runs. And that was right at the end of the original Isaac, and been dominating the game ever since.
crazyeigts now working on Isaac. Not going as quickly as he'd like to, but he got through pretty quickly there. Had to deal with a little more damage, and now he's onto the chest.
Nariom unfortunately takes a death. Now, this does mean that they can restart. Now, another thing that you may want to know, these runners are actually watching each other. It is a very common practice in Isaac to watch. Because of how short the runs are, it's actually considered just better for the overall race environment if people can just watch. I mean, there's no... That way it's not cheating if you're watching, and it lets you make some interesting decisions in your playstyle. If you know that you're behind, then you might play it a little bit differently. Might skip that item room that's there, might not even check it, for example. If you know what the devil deal is, you might intentionally skip the devil deal if you're that far behind. Now, that would require you to be a good floor or 2 behind, and so it's kind of decided that if you're that far behind already, well, maybe you should have some extra information to make the race more interesting.
Yeah, it kind of creates a rubber band effect, so that gives you a fair chance to catch up. And besides, it's not like the randomizers that we often run here, where you have the whole objective is to find items. Here, it's just literally get through the game as fast as possible. So it makes sense that being able to see what you can get out of it. crazyeigts not finding much in the chest, unfortunately, so he's gonna have to go into Blue Baby with not anything new.
Yeah, his build is insane. These spiders are just gonna, if he can collect enough of them, they don't if he gets a good room, a spider room or something just before the chest, he's just gonna annihilate Isaac. So, spoiler alert, the final boss is yourself. This game is deep in stuff.
Oh yeah, if you've looked into the hidden lore of the Binding of Isaac, there's a lot of dark secrets, especially when Afterbirth Plus came.
Technically, there is no lore, as the developer has basically said that he made it in such a way that there is no lore. And as you can see, we can see first place. Racing Plus is actually they are actually racing on a server right now. They can't see each other's character, obviously, in game, but they can actually see. So for people who have bad internet, they can actually see who's in first, second, third, fourth. But they can see where they are in the race, for example. It's very, very awesome.
Indeed. So crazyeightsfan taking the first race rather easily thanks to that death by Nariom, but he was already in a pretty good lead even before that, so very nicely done. But we're not done yet, folks. We're just getting started. We still have at least 2 potential more races to run here to see who these guys are going to take this round.
We're just discussing a little bit in chat, in the race chat. Everything is pretty much automated by a bot, as well as the Racing Plus server itself. So,
Yeah, there's not as much that we have to do behind the scenes to make these races work. We don't even need our item tracker. That is automated, so you can see at the bottom of the screen what items they have. Everything is pretty set up pretty well. Binding of Isaac being as mod-friendly as it is has allowed us to do a lot with it, so it's very much welcomed.
Even before it was actually mod-friendly, we got around it as a racing community. Once we got a little bit sick of some of the oddities in Rebirth, and then later Afterbirth, we kind of took things into our own hands, especially when we showed them examples of rooms that that were instant damage, and then the devs actually blocked Zamiel, the creator of the mod. As you can see here, you can actually be in the middle of like just messing around in a run, and the game will actually just send you into your next run.
Indeed.
So,
and this time they're starting off with the crown, which as long as you don't take damage, you get a boost of attack power, which is very helpful.
You have to be at full health or have no. You have to be at full red hearts, which if you have 0 out of 0 red hearts, that counts. And then another condition: when you have 0 to 0 red hearts, you can't take damage in the room, and you get ×2 damage bonus. It's a very interesting item. It's one of the good items that are in the holy rooms or the angel rooms. Angel rooms, though, are more of a defensive option. You can only get them if you've taken damage. So, it's something you don't want. The devil deals are paying hearts to get really good items. What happens if one of them dies? They continue on. They restart, move on.
Because of how this game works, the roguelike nature of this game, dying, you know, you can catch up so easily. If both players die, it's very easy for them to catch up. So definitely, we don't discourage death as being like the end of the run. We can keep going. You never know, the other person might die, and then we have a race again. Another
thing is that the runners themselves are going to have lots of ways to catch up if they die. I mean, if a seed is very bad, you know, well, okay, that devil deal is really bad. Maybe I'll intentionally skip it, get the next devil deal, and then maybe that's going to have like the knife or the ladder or something that will actually just let me like catch up. There's lots of things that you can do.
Yeah, better yet, you can also say, okay, well, these devil deals don't have anything. I'm going to intentionally skip this one, work for an angel room, and have that rare chance the angel room pays out with something big, because it doesn't pay off often, but every once in a while, the angel room has some really good items, especially in the later expansions.
Yep, the angel room's got a considerable buff in Afterbirth specifically. They got a few items that, and got no bad items, honestly. Even the defensive items are very good. Although one item was a bit of a dud, even though it looked pretty awesome, which was the Spear of Light.
Oh yeah.
The pre-release, everyone got really hyped about it, and it turned out to be a bit of a dud. What's the mirror do? Oh shoot, I didn't even catch which item was the mirror.
Yeah,
or are you memeing, Ruble?
I think, yeah, I don't think anyone picked it up, but the mirror will cause the tears to go halfway and then
yeah, my reflection. Yeah, my reflection's considered one of the worst original game items. Even though in the original Isaac it did have some minor uses, like there were some synergies in the original Isaac, but those synergies are few and far between.
No, he's talking about the mirror in the starting room of a level. That was something that was added later on. What that does is you can bomb it for some pills, or you can use it to randomly change your character. You can't choose which character you change to, but it gives you the random chance of having a better character if you don't like the one you're starting with.
Yeah, it's I believe that's an Afterbirth Plus mod option. Possibly even added in an expansion pack.
Yeah, I believe so. I know it was at least around the time of Afterbirth Plus.
Sounds like the robots fits now. Now, another key thing in this game is that fires do actually affect the enemies. There are a few rooms that are intentionally designed to show you this. This game has a lot of rare rooms that will teach you little things about the game. An entire room where a bunch of poops will just scoot towards you and then fall into a fire, into a small massacre.
Or spikes as well. So though spikes can be gotten around a little bit easier. I've seen videos of people who are an enemy actually got past a couple of spikes that should have been impossible. Ooh, Halo.
You can actually scoot through spikes pretty easily if they've got a corner to them. There's a lot of places in the game where you can do that. And even if your character is small enough, you can scoot through on the pixel. Now you have to get a lot of size downs, and that was my little, or Stumpy, as it's called in this game. It's the unicorn stump lets you become invincible, but you're not allowed to shoot tears, and you deal no damage. So it's only really useful if you have a contact damage build, which these runners do not. Plus, the nail is a very good item. Lets them break rocks to get items if they need to, lets them get a damage up in the room that they use it in, and gains them 1 soul heart. Soul hearts being very important for the game. So first off, these runners are very good. Second off, they are playing as Samson, who gains damage over time. And third, they always will, in a race, they will always start with good items. So you have to keep that in mind when watching racers.
Yeah, the way to play this game is, as Malakuth pointed out, understanding item synergy and, of course, execution. Item synergy is essential for this game because it's not just about what items you get; it's what items that work together do you get. Because certain items will
sometimes want to skip items.
Yeah, even if it's a good item on its own, it may not work with what you have at that moment, so it might be a good idea to skip that item. And once you understand that, you can create some really powerful builds that can just dominate.
Alternatively, knowing when a bad item is good, like my reflection has useful synergies with brimstone, for example, or there's a few items in the game that are just awful unless you have some other item.
Indeed,
usually a tier change effect.
Yeah, Crazy Eight's finding Dead Cat in the Devil Deal. Dead Cat will reduce your red hearts to 1, but will give you 9 lives. So if you've got a lot of health, a lot of soul hearts or black hearts, getting Dead Cat is a very useful item because that'll give you an extra chance to survive if things just go downhill fast.
Nariom picking out. So the Edge of Infestation 2, which in my opinion is one of the better items in the game. I would almost consider it a start half the time. On some characters, like if you had Judas, it's like a start. I used to start it when we didn't have set starts. And looks like that is he's gonna take Dead Cat as well. And then there's the Dark Bomb, who
that'll come in
for you and drop soul hearts in exchange.
When you're relying on your soul hearts, which is always a good idea to do, having Dark Bomb is a godsend because it will basically give you a non-stop supply of soul hearts, as long as you can find red hearts to replenish it, to fill it, and that just means so much more health when you need it most. So yeah, Dark Bomb is almost always a must get.
Oh, are they gonna beat Guppy this run? It's not like it matters.
It's getting close. They've got Dead Cat and Crazy It's just pick up Guppy's paw. So yeah, there's a good chance we might be seeing a Guppy run.
Fortunately, the knife makes Guppy far less useful. Guppy just kind of randomly sometimes spawns flies instead of every time you hit an enemy. Guppy is Guppy's the hype of this game. It's the hype meme.
Yeah, if you can work towards getting Guppy, not only are the items themselves usually very good, but Guppy themselves, for those who don't know, if you get a certain set of items, you will transform yourself into that particular transformation. Guppy being several of the Guppy items. And if you can get Guppy is considered the most OP transformation because normally with regular tiers, every tier spawns a fly, and the flies pretty much do your damage on their own. So if you can
your
spawn
damage
a ton of
plus a bit, it's not even just
plus a bit,
damage. Yeah, it's like
so
2 times.
So yeah, getting that on a constant stream of flies can just nuke enemies so fast. It's almost a must-have transformation if you can get it.
Another thing that is the Guppy's head is a very useful item to grab, just in general, especially in a especially if you have a high damage build that like the one that they have right now, because at every room you just get like 3 flies and they'll just eat something for you. There are a lot of good spacebar items that are made a lot better because of the backpack. As you can see, Crazy Eights Fan is crushing it, as always. Now, these are best of 3s. They'll be best of 5s in the next round. Small errors. I forgot how fast these matches go.
Yeah.
So, we'll probably just ask the runners to do the third one, because it's one of the new characters, Apollyon.
Ooh, that's always a fun one, especially
so
if you
we'll see if they're okay with that. We'll ask them, because we got time.
Yeah, this race was not lightning fast. Crazy H just completely dominated. The Nariom did do his best. He was at least up to It Lives before it was done. So Crazy H just knows exactly what he's doing, and he shows it with this race, just owning it. Nonetheless, that is GG for Crazy H fan. This last race is just for Nariom to try to save face. It's all for fun. But then again, this tournament is for fun. There's nothing on the line here except for pride. But, you know, we still love to see it. While we're waiting on that, I will say that as a fan of Binding of Isaac, I will tell you that if you enjoy the randomness of like the randomizer races that we do here on Speed Gaming, this game is built for you because everything is randomized. The rooms are randomized, the certain curses are randomized, the items are randomized. Everything is completely random every single run, so you're always guaranteed to get something new. The replayability is through the roof on this game, so I would always recommend you give it a shot.
So they are discussing a showcase race. I'm sure we have time until the next race, I believe. Fiesel can yell at me if otherwise. But I'm pretty sure the next race is not for another 20 minutes.
Considering how fast these races have been going, I'm pretty sure we could get one more within 20 minutes.
Yeah, this sounds great. So it looks like we're 1 second.
We actually have a user in the chat named Replayability. He knows he's through the roof. Thank you, sir. And yeah, if you guys want to race on this game as well, even if that outside the tournament, this mod is publicly available. Definitely download the mod, add it to your game, and give it a shot. And there's tons of other mods you can add to it as well. There's so much you can do with this. And that's the beauty of Binding of Isaac, is there's new items getting added every day. The developers have been creating update packs, adding new items that were mods originally, but were so good and so well beloved that the developers took those mods and made them official updates. That is how awesome Edmund McMillan and his team is with this game. Is that
be careful praising Edmund in this community.
Well, he can be very trolly. Don't get me wrong. He can be just as trolly with a lot of the bosses he's added stuff. When it comes to items, they have been very friendly with the community in terms of item mods and everything like that. But he counterbalances that by making some really nasty bosses and enemies that just are designed to make your life a living hell.
Okay, so we are gonna have a showcase race. It's gonna be a Polion, starting with Epic Fetus, and it's gonna be with the Everything rule set, which means that they are going to go through the entire game. We're gonna see every floor. So they're gonna go to Cathedral, then Sheol, then Chest, then Darkroom, then Megistan.
Are they gonna do the Abyss?
No, nobody likes the Abyss.
Or the Void.
Nobody wants to go to the Abyss.
Nobody likes Delirium.
Yeah. It has the best music in the game, but
that is true. For those who don't know, the Void is the final room that was recently added with Afterbirth Plus. Every room is a random mix of all the other levels, and the final boss is one of the trolliest bosses you'll ever find.
It's literally just all of the bosses randomly appearing, and then the final form is like a really dumb boss, and it's all damage gated because apparently Edmund thinks that we don't want to play ultra powerful thins in this game.
Yeah, he kind of did that with what's his name as well. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. The boss he had in Afterbirth.
Okay, so we'll be starting, and as this mod is, by the way, so cool. As you can see, all this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 go is mod. So we're starting with Epic Fetus, and we already got Lusty Blood. which is the original Samson item. If you played the original game, whenever you take damage, your damage increases for that room, or for that floor, sorry.
Yeah. Also, Hush was the boss I was thinking of. Thank you, Ravenor. But yeah, Hush is also damage gated, meaning that its defenses and health are based on how much damage you do, which is a real pain.
And fun fact, that is hard coded into the game. It is impossible to, because it's hard coded into their rooms. So you actually add to the character. So you actually just can't fight those. There's no way to remove it without just remaking the game. So Apollyon's item is really good with a static item like Epic Fetus, one that doesn't synergize with anything. So what it does is it gives you a random stat boost every time you eat an item in an item room.
Yeah, and on top of that, if the item is a usable item, said item will also add to your item pool. So when you use the Void again, it will give you not only the stat boost, but that item as well.
Yep. So if it's very interesting, if only because of like it can just make a build like this. Like Apollyon is a pretty okay character, like not the best stat wise, but in something like this, it's very good. Sacrificial Dagger being added in. So now they got a little bit of contact damage if something's running up. There are some enemies that are a little bit hard to kill with Epic Fetus, so kind of do want to make sure that you protect yourself a bit. Oh, one thing that's obvious for people who've been watching Isaac for a long time, we now start with the compass. That's another item that we always start with, which allows us to see. It actually does exactly what the compass does in Zelda. Lets you see where the boss is, but it doesn't show you the exact layout of the floor, but it gives you an idea. How long are these runs? Well, a normal run just to one location is roughly about 10 minutes, but what these runners are doing is they are doing a everything run, which they're going to run to every single location in one go. So it's a special rule set with the mod that lets them fight everything. This is going to take about 20 minutes, so it shouldn't be late for this way that there's no break in between the thing. These are two good runners, though, to showcase off the game, as Nariom and crazyeightsfan69 are extremely good runners. And as you can see here, that boss kind of got stopped by the poop. The acidic poop will stop his movements when he runs into it, even when he's underground. So
true, but you do need to be careful with the red acidic poop, because it will actually damage you if you touch it, and if you break it, it will eventually respawn. So you have to be very careful with that.
You can't get rid of it permanently, at least. Well, there are ways. You can actually place a normal poop on top of it with the poop item and get rid of it.
And there are some rooms that when you defeat all the enemies, it will turn the acidic poop into normal poop.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't happen very often, so don't count on it, basically.
Yeah, and that's actually another thing is there are like 4,000 rooms in this game. And learning them all is extremely useful. It's a large part of the skill of this game is remembering how to do all the rooms. Okay, so here we're doing double angel fight.
Unfortunately, I believe you still only get one key piece for that, but in this case, it doesn't matter. Nor in the normal game, if you defeat the angels, you can get one piece of a key that's used to unlock Mega Satan at the very end of the game.
They will not need this for this everything run, even though it's going to end at Mega Stand, because the mod will give them both pieces in the Dark Room. Oh, I think that was normal fetus. Yeah, the void itself would take like 10 minutes to do because of the stupid damage gated. Like Hush is about a 5-minute fight no matter what your damage is.
It's a real pain.
There are ways. Some builds break that damage cap. It's It's actually basically it's not based on damage per second. It's actually based on like each tier. So there are some builds that just like literally melt him because the game just can't actually handle it. You're just shooting so often and with just enough damage. But you need a very specific set of items for Hush to be downed that fast. This is one of the strange bosses in the game. It's actually a boss that you encounter in certain ways throughout the run, and this is the first place you find him in his complete form. So another interesting room are any trap rooms, as they're called. They require you to actually finish, hit the trap switches to get out. It'd be quite annoying. But yeah, the angels actually in the mod do not drop key pieces. Or actually, oh no, they do. Never mind. But they didn't. That was a different version of the mod where there was just 2 items there. That's another thing that was changed. We made angel rooms significantly better because angel rooms suck.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad items in the angel rooms, but if you can get the good ones, are really good stuff like
the good ones are some of the best. Yeah, holy light. Yeah, it's pretty good. And with now the good thing is that with Apollyon you can eat all the items in the room. Apollyon eats all the items in a room, so you can just eat all 3, and there you go. Now you have a super item. There are a lot of spacebar items too, but you have to be careful because they'll activate all at once. So sometimes you have to be careful not to run into an issue.
Nariom finding Brimstone in a Devil Deal, but turned it down surprisingly. I mean, he's got, I guess because he's got Epic Fetus, but then again, Epic Fetus does synergize with Brimstone. That would have made it a really powerful item.
Oh, there's Sacred Heart.
Sacred Heart in the Angel Room. He is picking that up. That gives him homing shots and increased health. That is a very, very powerful item.
Yeah,
and he gets Holy Mantle on top.
Probably the best defensive item in the game.
Yes, indeed. Holy Mantle will give you a free hit of damage, and it does not.
Oh, wait, did I miss Nariom dying?
Oh, snap. I think we did. He is back at the basement.
Oh, man. This is what you get for taking Devil Deals on Epic Fetus. It's actually better to not take Devil Deals on Epic Fetus, because you just have so much damage already. You may as well high roll, especially in an everything run where they're going to see more rooms than normal.
Unless, of course, you have something like Pyromaniac or the Skull Cap, which will prevent explosive damage, then it's a lot better off.
Oh, yeah. Now, one odd thing is that with Homan, as you can see here, he's actually using his mouse. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to get that much. It does make it weird, because it will pull towards enemies that's close by. So as you can see here, this is where everything mode comes into. We're actually going down to Sheol. Yeah, some Devil Deals actually give you soul hearts or black hearts, so temporary health. And here we are in the Devil fight. It's a multi-stage fight. You fight 2 Fallens, then you fight the Devil, well, at least the Devil statue, and then the Goat himself starts trying to stomp on you. Now we're in the chest.
Yeah, it gets very quickly. The difference between the chest and the Dark Room is that the chest gives you a lot of good items more often than not. It gives you golden chests every time. Even if it looks like a regular chest, when you open it up, it ends up being a golden chest. It has a higher chance of, and is guaranteed items. In the Dark Room, you get all red chests.
Well, in the mod, they are modded to be to work exactly the same. So the Dark Room will give you 4 chests. They'll appear as red chests, and when you open them, you'll get items.
Okay, so that works out a little bit.
That's a change that's been pretty common in the racing community, just because, well, Dark Room races were unfun.
Yeah, that's because in the vanilla game, dark rooms give you red chests, which have a chance to give you like really powerful devil room items, but more often than not will just give you garbage. So that change is very helpful, I'm sure.
Yes, the change was made actually. I think I was one of the first people to run a dark room tournament, and we eventually just were like, yeah, we should just mod this, and then that's fun. And well, I think it was actually that a tradition in some Isaac racing is if it's brackets. Oh, now they're just gold. Now they just appear as gold chests. Nice. What a tradition semi started, or at least I remember suggesting it, was that the losers bracket was dark room, because I think that was actually started by Balls of Steel, and then I adopted it with the change. So that makes tournaments a lot more fun. The idea that the losers brackets have to fight their way out of hell, essentially.
Makes sense. The Dark World is a slightly more difficult run than the chest is, especially because the items you get, at least originally, were a lot less helpful. But here now,
Bithorn, yes. The chest has lots of very difficult fights. So now, once we kill this part, we're going to be teleported, I believe. Oh no, we have to walk all the way back to Metastan. This is a common thing in Metastan races, where instead of allowing you to teleport, you actually need to fight your way back through. This is to reduce the power of the Emperor card in a Metastan race. And here he is. Here's the big man himself, the Metastan.
This is another multi-stage boss. At first, after a few hits, you're going to fight the Horsemen. Then you fight the Seven Sins and their super forms. Then you will fight two dark versions of the Angels. And then finally, you will, after you finish off Snake of Satan, he will transform into a skeletal version of himself, and that is his final form.
Yeah, you actually kill Meta Satan, and then you kill him again. Oh yeah, you also have to fight the Dark Angels.
Yep, I mentioned that earlier. So that's, like I said, this is a multi-form. Then you fight the skeletal version, and again, with his undead form.
And there it is, Meta Satan down. crazyeightsfan taking it away in our showcase race. I believe, I don't know if it's on this channel, but it is. Right after, we're gonna have Andy versus Zadots. If you are a Legend of Zelda fan.
Yep, so just definitely stay tuned to that. I'm also going to attempt to, I've signed up for another race, another Link to the Past randomizer race about 3 o'clock. If I get in on that, then you guys can hear me then. But there's big shout out to crazyeightsfan69 and Nariom for a fun race. This was a lot of fun to do.
I don't think Cobalt Streak races competitively anymore. I know he races on the Super Show, but I haven't actually talked to either Richard or Cobalt in a very long time. Used to communicate with them somewhat regularly when I was in the Isaac community. Hey, and if you're a viewer, subscriber to him, he wants to come commentate over here, I don't think any of us will be upset about that. If he wants to, I will gladly allow him to commentate. That'll be very appreciated. I think with Cyclone, there's actually more Pass on this channel right now.
Yeah, going to be starting up here shortly, so make sure you guys tune in for that. Make sure you follow all of our channels, Speed Gaming 1 through 4. I believe Randomizer Mania is still a thing, so Randomizer Mania 1 through 4. And then, of course, ALTTP Randomizer, if you're a Link to the Past Randomizer fan. That's also got 4 channels as well, so plenty of speedrun racing action going on all our channels. Definitely tune in for that. And, of course, subscribe if you enjoy our commentary. Me and Zelda, we have our channels as well. Definitely give us a follow as well. We appreciate all the support. And big shout out to Fiesel for helping put these streams together. He is an awesome guy to work with.
Yep, and thank you very much. I very much appreciate it, as it is an old passion and flame of mine. So enjoy the LTTP. Stay right here, and have a wonderful day. We don't
rock on, guys.